Can you do machine learning in C++? That was something you have to think.
Right.
Generally, people do it in Python. So if you don't like, which I personally don't like that much DSA,
Right.
but then to DSA is very important if you want to crack a very good companies, product-based companies especially.
Hello everyone. So today we are having our episode 9 and I'm very glad to introduce the Neem set today. Actually Neem secured his PPO, that is the pre-placement offer from the G Healthcare. So congratulations Neem, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm very glad to be here and share my experience with you and everyone else.
Right, so welcome again Neem. So please Neem, little bit can you tell about your role?
So basically, I was hired as a software in, and what role that I went to, it was more of software development
Right,
side, which include a bit of AI/ML, automation, and web development dominantly.
right,
So that was what I worked for. But G Healthcare as a whole is a very wide company, which is
right,
multiple number of teams.
right,
So if you come into G Healthcare, you will be allotted to various different things. It could be AI/ML, data engineering, software, a lot of different things you
right,
have to check.
correct. Okay, so Neem, like it was your summer internship, right? That time. So, like we are interested to knowing about the hiring process of that time when you are having your summer internship. So, please you can start about that.
Yeah, so basically, G came in the month of August 2024 for our batch for summer internship. So basically, we had three rounds that started with an online assessment. The online assessment itself was basically around three rounds. So first you had the aptitude,
Okay.
then you had the computer science fundamental questions, four fundamental questions, and theoretical questions basically,
Okay.
but MCQs.
Okay.
And then and you had two coding questions. For me, it was one was DP and one was arrays. Basically, these were the two questions that I had. But people also had graphs and trees as well as one of the questions in the online assessment. Following that, after a day or two, they released results for technical interviews. The technical interview lasted around 45 minutes to 1 hour for like around everybody. Talking about my technical interview was more inclined towards operating systems.
Okay.
Like the complete 45 minutes that I had, around 20-25 minutes was devoted to operating systems. And then I had a bit of DS also, like I had to share screen and code. DSA was a normal one, not that difficult, easy or lower medium. Basically, you can say lead code as per lead code. And then they asked me about because my resume was inclined towards AI/ML, so they asked me AI/ML fundamental questions. Like,
Okay.
if you have clarity about it, then you can answer those questions. Like fundamental, like can you do if you I give an example. Basically, you can say lead code as per lead code. And then they asked me about because my resume was inclined towards AI/ML, so they asked me AI/ML fundamental questions. Like,
Okay.
if you have clarity about it, then you can answer those questions. Like fundamental, like can you do if you I give an example, can you do machine learning in C++? That was something you have to think.
Right.
Generally, people do it in Python. So is it possible? And what I felt and what I was across all the interviews that happened during my time, your interview at G Healthcare is very inclined towards the interviewer is. So the interviewer who took my interview, he basically was in C healthcare for around say 14 to 15 years, and he was in software development side.
Right.
That's why my interviews was more inclined towards written. If that guy is into machine learning, maybe your interview might be inclined towards that field. And maybe there could be open-ended interviews where they would be seeing your resumes and asking questions to the projects. That also happened.
Right.
I had my tech interview, and following that, in fact, the operating system they covered was like in depth. Like they even asked me to code OS multi-threading question. Then they asked. And following that, and one of the interviews, they even asked someone about low-level designing and all.
Okay.
So yeah, it was something very interesting, which generally companies don't ask for summer internships.
Right.
And after that, we had the HR round. The HR round also lasted for 20 minutes. Asked the typical HR questions: where do you see yourself? Why G Healthcare? About G Healthcare? And all those about it. That was how all it went about. And HR round was also very good, like introduction and all. And overall, the process was very accommodating and very learning experience from what I felt.
Okay. So it is very well explained by you already, Neem. But still, I would like to go back in the technical interview. So you said that asked to you DS equations, right? Data structure. Can you tell a little
Yes.
bit about those questions? Were this from like directly lead code or something you heard first time?
Uh, and what I have, what my question was DSA and what everybody else was asked. The DSA questions are typically very easy. Like
Hmm.
for me, it was just stack and extended stack questions,
Right.
from what I recall. Not that difficult to implement.
Right.
So you can say lower
Okay.
or as per lead code questions.
Okay. So they asked you more about the operating system, like reason behind it because your resume was inclined towards that, or they generally asked about that.
No, it is not that. As I said, my interviewer had a background in
Okay.
basically
Yeah.
software development. So it was his background. He might be inclined, that's why he went into that operating system, but
Okay.
more because
Right.
his skill set was based on that. So what I know about GA healthcare and what my experience has been stored at if whenever you're giving your interview at GA healthcare, your interview goes in the flow of how what is the background of your interviewer.
Right.
If it comes from data engineering, it will be inclined towards that. If it goes from software, it will be inclined towards that area basically.
Right. So we need to be ready about our whole like CSE syllabus. Typically, we can say, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. If you're going for software, yes.
Right. So after that,
And
yeah,
yeah,
sure, sure. Please continue.
yeah, yeah. No, nothing. Just one thing that I wanted to say is like if you're going for G healthcare interview, always know about your interview.
Right.
That will basically be the key towards a successful interview.
Right. So thank you, Neem, for sharing that insight. Like following that technical round, there were HR round, right? So what they asked you in HR round, from apart from those typical HR questions, like there was any puzzles?
No, I did not have any questions. This was very normal, and I basically had a project basically that was in the healthcare. So he asked me why that project and something about that
Hmm.
basically. But a normal question. But we did have a good discussion about. So basically, when he asked me if I had any questions for him,
Right.
so I asked my interviewer that how is G healthcare in terms of environment, work culture,
Right.
and how it has been different pre-COVID and post-COVID at G
Right.
healthcare. So that conversation as a whole went for 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
So where he shared about something about his experience, I asked a couple of questions. So it was two both ways conversation.
Okay, so I think no need to ask here again those questions about the technical or HR rounds. You already very well explained. Now I have a question, Neem. Like I am noticing you from since my first year, and you are very active, like in all kind of the things, whether it is academics or any co-curricular activities. So any advice you want to give your upcoming batches so they can easily crack it into like G healthcare or similar roles?
One thing that as being a TNP coordinator also I would like
Yeah.
to add on here, and as being a part of it, one fundamental thing is about clarity to explain your concepts.
Right.
It is very important as this. You could be very strong at your technical knowledge, but how well you explain those technical concepts to an interviewer is the fundamental thing that can help you crack any interviews, be it a technical interview or a HR. And this skills basically are for me personally were developed by interacting with people, and those comes from being a part of different sales clubs, councils and all.
Right.
So being active in co-curriculum, I felt also helped me convey my answers in more clearer and better way.
I think one more question we already know the answer, but still I want to hear from you. How much DS is important?
Oh, very important, very important. So basically, G healthcare for if you ask me for G healthcare, if you are at a if you can do a lead code medium, that's good enough for you to clear G healthcare basically. But as a overall, if you're asking me, DSA is very important. Even if you don't like, which I personally don't like that much DSA,
Right.
but then to DSA is very important if you want to crack a very good companies, product-based companies especially.
Okay, so thank you so much, Neem, sharing details so far. Like anything which you want to add on?
Uh, I, I would add one thing which I saw recently. This time, see, healthcare had one more round of interview. It's not an interview; it was something called a psychometric test, where they asked me to play some types of games, some behavioral questions and all, which basically they will try to judge how you think, how you might be working as a team. So that is something which they introduced recently this time, and it has been a game changer because it has changed results drastically. People who might be thinking how they think is affecting their selection as well.
So Neem, in that case, like you first get summer internship that it converted to the PPO, right? Pre-placement offer. So I want you to give some advice for the people who are getting summer internship so that easily can it convert into the PPO.
Very generic advice that I would like to give to everyone
Right.
like, who go for 2 month intern or even a 6 month intern. One thing is that try to take that 2 months or 6 months very seriously, which will basically show your dedication
Right.
that you can contribute something for the company because company will be investing resources in you, so they want के वो आपसे maximum चीजें ले पाए.
बिल्कुल.
So if you can show them that your good skills, you can work, you can give more over and above than what they
Right.
expect, then that will basically help you to get your offer converted. For example, मेरे लिए they wanted I do X number of things in say 5 days. They did it in 2.5. So that is something that shows that I am dedicated enough and want to work for something new for the company itself,
Right.
and they can trust me basically.
Right.
So that 2 or 6 months you be dedicatedly serious, do enjoy it, but be serious and work enough or more. Then it's a good deal to get your offer converted.
Correct. Very interesting. Thank you so much, Neem. I think we already covered all kind of the questions which anybody may face in their G healthcare or software developer role for that particular company profile. So yeah, thank you so much, Neem, again for joining today, and I wish you very best future. Yeah, and I think
Thank you so much.